Time. Will do. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? We ask that you find your seat and silence all electronic devices for the duration of the ceremony. Additionally, this ceremony will be broadcasted live. We will commence shortly. Thank you. Morning, distinguished guests, Joint Base San Antonio, Texas leaders, community leaders, and Team Phoenix. On behalf of the presiding official, Commander, Air Combat Command, General Kenneth A. Wilsbach, welcome to the 16th Air Force Change of Command Ceremony. I am Master Sergeant Darius Charles, your Master of Ceremony. Today, Lieutenant General Kevin B. Kennedy will relinquish command of 16th Air Force to the Lieutenant General Thomas K. Henlsey. The change of command is one of the most common ceremonies and is rooted in military history dating back to the 18th century. At that time, organizational flags were developed with color arrangements and symbols unique to each unit. The flag served as a rallying point and reminder of their allegiance to their leader during battle. To this flag and its commander, military members dedicated their loyalty and trust. When a change of command took place, the flag was passed to the individual assuming command in the presence of their entire unit. All unit members could witness their new leader assume responsibility and trust associated with the position of commander. This symbolic tradition has survived throughout military history. During today's ceremony, there will be moments where you will be required to stand and show proper respect. First, during the arrival of the official party and musical honors. During musical honors, military personnel should stand at attention facing the presiding official, while civilian guests should simply stand. Secondly, during the national anthem, followed by the posting of the colors and invocation. Furthermore, stand for the change of command commencement, playing of the Air Force song, and finally, departure of the official party. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party, musical honors, national anthem, and posting of the colors by the Joint Base San Antonio Honor Guard.
so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Court. Home. Host. 16th Air Force Senior Chaplain, Colonel Stephen Cunyo, will now deliver the invocation.
I invite you to join me, please. O God of freedom, on this special morning for the 16th Air Force, we recognize the gift of leadership in this change of command ceremony. For we witness the celebration and seriousness of this moment in command relinquished and command assumed. For, O God, thou hast given us a time and purpose in all things, a time to begin and a time to end, a time to embrace and a time to release. And so for our outgoing commander this morning, Lieutenant General Kevin Kennedy, we declare this day that we are so very grateful for him, for his effective and tireless leadership, his sacrifices and service, and for his outstanding devotion and care to the 16th Air Force these past 2 years. So we say thank you this day to a great airman and strategic leader in our Air Force, and for the tremendous contributions he has made serving and defending our great nation. As well, O God, we're thankful for our incoming commander, Lieutenant General Thomas Henlsey. And as the guidon of command is passed in just a few moments, and the weight of this awesome responsibility is assumed, I ask that you would grant our new commander the strength, the wisdom, and the humble confidence to lead the 16th Air Force wisely and well in successfully accomplishing the mission. So for all of us gathered here this morning, together as an Air Force family, along with our community leaders, we reaffirm our dedication to the mission, our great country, and the cause of freedom. And now, may thy favor and blessing rest upon this change of command ceremony. For these things I pray in thy merciful and mighty name. Amen.
Thank you, Captain Cunyo, Ms. Elmore, and JBSA Honor Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Now, it is my honor to introduce the official party. Commander, Air Combat Command, General Kenneth Wilsbach. Commander, U.S. Cyber Command, Director, National Security Agency, and Chief, Central Security Service, General Timothy Hawk. Commander, 16th Air Force, Air Force's Cyber, Lieutenant General Kevin Kennedy. And incoming Commander, 16th Air Force, Air Force's Cyber, Lieutenant General Thomas Henlsey. It is also my pleasure to welcome in attendance the presiding officer's wife and the family members of General Kennedy and General Henlsey. General Wilsbach's wife, Cindy. Wife of the Commander, 16th Air Force, Air Force's Cyber, Mrs. Cindy Kennedy. Wife of the incoming Commander, 16th Air Force, Air Force's Cyber, Mrs. Vicki Henlsey, and their children, Logan, Hunter, and Jackson, Aunt Sonsel Blood, Uncle Wong Gong Song, and his wife, Augie, father and mother-in-law, U.S. retired, Army retired, Sergeant Major Dennis Batten and his wife, Janice, brother-in-law, James Batten and his wife, Leslie, their daughter, Brianna, and her fiance, Andreas Smith, and Logan Hensley's fiance, Lindsay Beck. I am also delighted to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished guests. Kindly refrain from applauding until all individuals have been introduced. Former Commander, U.S. Cyber Command, Director, National Security Agency, and Chief, Central Security Service, U.S. Army retired, General Paul Nokasani, and his wife, Susan. Deputy Chief of Staff for Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance, and Cyber Effects Operations, Headquarters, U.S. Air Force, Lieutenant General Leah Leiterbach, U.S. Air Force retired, Lieutenant General Chris Nolan, U.S. Navy retired, Vice Admiral T.J. White, U.S. Air Force retired, Lieutenant General David Jalazadeh, and his wife, Kate. Deputy Chief Information Officer for the Department of the Air Force, Mr. Weston Bucamp. Deputy Commander of Estonian Defense Forces, Cyber Command, Mr. Mikhail Tick. Deputy Commander, Air Education and Training Command, Major General Clark Quinn. Deputy Commander, 16th Air Force, Air Force's Cyber, Major General Larry Broadwell and his wife Shelby. U.S. Air Force retired, Major General Glenn Schaefer, Major General John Maluda, Major General Roger Berg and his wife Sharon, Major General Pete Lamberg, Major General Aaron Pupas, Major General Craig Wills, and Major General David Gadike. Director of Intelligence and Cyber Effects Operation, National Guard Bureau, Brigadier General Reed Novotny. Deputy Commander, Joint Force Headquarters, Cyber Air Force, Brigadier General Kaylee Stevens. Commander, Air Force Personnel Center, Brigadier General Jefferson O'Donnell. Commander, Joint Base San Antonio, Texas, and 52nd Air Base Wing, Brigadier General Randy Oakland. Commander, Defense Command, Cyber Command, Kingdom of the Netherlands, Brigadier General Renee Vandenberg, U.S. Air Force retired, Brigadier General Scott Bethel, and Brigadier General J.O. McFalls. Associate Director of Intelligence, Air Combat Command, Mr. Shane Hamilton. Director, NSA Colorado, Mrs. Janae Seidel. Executive Director, 16th Air Force, Mr. Brian Cook. Director, Air Force Cryptologic Office, Mr. J. Bakuber. Deputy Commander, NSA Texas, Mr. Paul Logeson. Former Director, Chief Information Officer, the Pentagon, Mr. William Marion. Former Director of Staff, 25th Air Force, Mr. Ken Williams. Former Director, Joint Information Operations Warfare Center, Mr. Greg Radaba. Command Chief, Air Combat Command, Chief Master Sergeant David Wolf and his wife, Dr. Donnell Wolf. Command Senior Enlisted Leader, U.S. Cyber Command, Chief Master Sergeant Kenneth Bruce. Command Chief, 16th Air Force's Cyber, Chief Master Sergeant Robert Hopkins and his wife Tony. 16th Air Force Chief of Staff, Mr. Bill Apodaca and his wife Aurelia. Command Chief, Joint Base San Antonio, Texas and 52nd Air Base Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Gilda Alexander. Former Air Force ISR Agency Command Chief, U.S. Air Force retired, Chief Master Sergeant Paul Westlow. President and CEO, Port San Antonio, Mr. Jim Pershbach. President, Greater San Antonio Chamber, Mr. Jeff Webster. And Chief Learning Officer of San Antonio Museum of Science and Technology and 688 Cyberspace Wing Civic Leader, Dr. Cliff Zinkgraf. Due to time constraints, we are unable to formally acknowledge all. Due to time constraints, we are unable to formally acknowledge all distinguished guests present. However, we would like to take a moment to extend a warm welcome to all commanders, directors, and senior enlisted leaders. We sincerely appreciate your presence here this morning. Now, please allow me to introduce the presiding official, General Wilsbach. Sir, the floor is yours for your remarks.
All right, good morning, everybody. And I think we probably owe a few people a round of applause. First of all, for the singer of the national anthem. That sounded great. Thank you. And for all of those names that you read. Some of them were challenging, but good job. You got through it, and you welcomed all the guests, so thank you very much. Well, good morning, everybody. What a special day for 16th Air Force and AF Cyber. And we do have 3 tasks today. The first one is, we have to highlight some of the amazing things that the men and women in 16th Air Force have been doing for the last 2 years. Under the leadership of General Kennedy. And we got to say goodbye to the Kennedy command team, and we have to welcome in the Henlsey command team. So those are the 3 things we have to do today, and really appreciate everybody joining. I won't repeat the welcomes that you just did, so we'll, in the interest of time. But I would like to say welcome to General Nakasone, and also General Hawk. Thank you guys for being here. And then to everybody else, thank you so much. Well, if you're familiar with 16th Air Force, you know what a strategic, impactful command that is. If you're not familiar with what 16th Air Force does, they have some unique missions that occur nearly every day. In fact, there's some of them that are happening as we speak. Inside of cyberspace, in the air with reconnaissance aircraft, and certainly we have analysts, intel analysts that are looking at collections that we've been making over the last few days. They're doing that right now, and they do that 7 days a week, 24/7. And they've been doing some amazing work over the last 2 years under the leadership of Trap Kennedy. And I'd just like to just point out a few things. But if you're not familiar with 16th Air Force, there's 49,000 people in it. That's a pretty big command. There's 16 wings, 2 centers, 64 groups, 297 squadrons, and 123 locations worldwide. So even though we're here in San Antonio, the sun does not set on 16th Air Force. And it's a tremendous organization. And I'd like to point out just a few highlights during General Kennedy's tenure. He led the longest Cyber Command tenured mission, package and campaign cyber response for Ukraine. They're doing some amazing work. We can't tell you about any of it, but amazing work, and that's happening 24/7. They stood up the Air Force's Information Warfare Ops Center. That synchronizes for the air component and for combatant commanders all of the activities that are associated with information warfare and its organization. They launched a project called Project Phoenix, which gathered many subject matter experts across numerous organizations and effectively improved the way we deliver intelligence and cyber and reconnaissance product to the warfighter. It's amazing. It's an amazing team. They also stood up a joint team to address analytical priorities to look at risk-based vulnerability in managing all of that information, and it really became a highlight for 3 Secretary of the Air Force offices, 2 MAJCOMs, 3 wings, and it really modernized the way that we approach cyber and cyber operations. Again, most of which we can't tell you much about, but if I could put it in layman's terms, they are doing the absolute most important things that secure our national security, and that was all under TRAP's leadership. Incredible work by General Kennedy. If you didn't know this, he has 2 of his bosses in the front here, but he actually has 7. I don't know about you, but having 7 bosses can sometimes be a challenge, but I'll tell you, there's been no one better at making sure that all the bosses were happy, which is really hard to do, because sometimes those bosses have competing interests, but a superb professional. And Trap, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being such an amazing commander through your tenure. We can't let Trap go without talking about Cindy and your family. You've been a spouse for 34 years, a military spouse, and so you know what it's like to live through and the excitement of that time and during your husband's career, but you also know the sacrifices that are associated with that as well. And if you wouldn't mind, I would like for the crowd to join me in an applause to thank you for your service to our country. Both Trap and Cindy come from military families, so they know what they were getting into. But still, both of you served your country for 30 plus years, and our nation owes you and your family a debt of gratitude. And furthermore, to manage the family, you've been geographically separated, so both of you have made an extra sacrifice during these last 2 years, and so we want to thank you for that as well. As you transition to the next chapter in your lives, we wish you nothing but the best, and you leave 16th Air Force, the Air Force, and frankly DOD with a nation that is so grateful for your service. And we just can't wish you any more good things. We just wish you all the best, and also don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger. Well, as we say goodbye to one command team, we have to welcome in another. And General Crypto, Lieutenant General, brand new Lieutenant General, Crypto Henlsey, and his wife, Vicky, and their family that are well represented, I have to say, well represented here today, really nicely done. And those of you that know Crypto know that we couldn't have picked a better commander to replace Trap. If you look at his bio from your program, you'll notice an officer that is about as well-rounded and well-developed as you could ever imagine for the job that he's about to do. And we have some changes that are going to happen with AF Cyber and 16th Air Force that are going to occur in the near future. If you could pick anybody, we would pick Crypto to lead us through that transition because he has the expertise and he has the experience too. A lot of joint time, a lot of time overseas, a lot of different missions, and so right guy, right time. And of course, we can't forget about Vicki. You are also serving, and we pay him. We don't pay you, unfortunately, but I say all the time, we have to thank the families, especially the spouses, because we in the military could not do what we need to do if it wasn't for the support of our family members, especially the spouses. And so, Vicki, thank you so much for what you have done during Crypto's career and what you will do here, probably and most assuredly leading the families of 16th Air Force all around the world. And so we just thank you for that willingness to be able to serve in that capacity, and we wish you all the best. Well, listen, I would like to leave plenty of time for all the other speeches and, of course, the ceremony of the change of command. But again, I want to congratulate the Kennedys for a job extremely well done, not only here at 16th Air Force, but for 34 years of dedicated and impeccable service. And we want to congratulate the Hensleys and welcome them in to 16th Air Force. Thank you, everybody.
General Wilsbach, thank you for those inspiring remarks. Now, I would like to welcome General Hawk to come forward for and deliver his remarks. Sir, you have the floor.
All right, good morning. It is an honor to be with you today. Now, we all know that we love all our components equally, but there is a little bit of a soft spot in Sherry and I's hearts for 16th Air Force. So it's an incredible honor to be here, celebrate the achievements of 16th Air Force under General Kennedy's leadership, and welcome the Hensleys. I would like to recognize General Wilsbach and Cindy, Chief Master Sergeant Wolf, Dr. Wolf, General Noxoni, Susan, Chief Bruce, all of the leaders that are here today. It is really an opportunity for us to celebrate the achievements of airmen and joint warriors across the 16th Air Force enterprise and what you've done over the last 2 years. Before I really start, what I wanted to do is I thought I'd offer some advice for Cindy. Like, as Trap rejoins, I think he's gonna need some cybersecurity help. It's been about 10 years he's been involved in cyber, but as we looked at what are the cybersecurity practices that are dangerous, it's really about selecting passwords. And we're a little concerned that some of his passwords are in the top 10 list of most used. So you want to scan, make sure there's no T-Swift 13, no Taylor Swift 1989, no Swifty 1989. Work your way through all the networks and all his devices when he gets back home. So Cindy, thank you so much. Thanks to the Kennedy family. As highlighted, families serve, and families enable service in ways that really are impactful in our nation. Thanks for your service. Vicki and the Henlsey family, thank you so much for everything that you've done today, what you're going to do. We cannot be as successful as a nation without the support of each of the families that are focused on service. So what I'd like to do today is just highlight a couple things. Really the missions, I'll focus on the missions that 16th Air Force does in support of U.S. Cyber Command and the National Security Agency. But before I do that, I do want to recognize the work that goes on across the entire enterprise. The ISR professionals, the weather team, the electronic combat, the network ops professionals, all of our cyber team, that every one of those is a team sport. It's about partnership. It's about staffs that can be leaders. It's about higher headquarters staffs that can be leaders, and to be able to make sure it's successful. But most of all, what it takes is an enterprise operating in unity. and the ability of leaders at all echelons to be able to work towards a common vision. And what TRAP provided was a common vision of how to get after hard problems, to do that in support of combatant commanders, to do that in support of air components, and I'd like just to highlight a couple of those. First, in terms of a service cryptologic component commander, those things to bring our SIGINT enterprise together across our ISR team to be able to do things that position us against our pacing challenge. When we think about the challenges of combat support modernization, how do we bring our architecture together? When we think about how we train airmen from a cryptologic perspective and ensure that they're ready for the task. When we think about over-the-horizon targeting and what that means to be able to bring together our Air Force with national agencies and to be able to do that in a way that's going to be synchronized with what INDOPACOM needs and what PACAF needs. Those cryptologic functions that are core to how we are able to understand our adversary and be in front of them. The work that is going on to ensure that we can bring NSA authorities to those problems that PACAF needs solved. Each of those things have happened under General Kennedy's watch. When we think about the role of being a cyber component and doing that in support of 4 combatant commands, Cyber Command, STRATCOM, SpaceCom, and EUCOM, you can walk through each one of these and talk about what is going on in 16th Air Force over the last 2 years. I'll start with European Command and look at what has happened since Russia's unlawful invasion of Ukraine and the work that 16th Air Force has done to support EUCOM and SAG-U forward as they team to support Ukraine against the unlawful invasion by Russia. We look at the things that have gone on to help defend networks, the work to be able to bring expertise and to partner with many nations, the work that ensures that we bring together nations that are growing cyber capability, and how that comes together to be stronger for General Cavoli. When we look at STRATCOM and defending the highest priority networks that we have in the Department of Defense, our strategic deterrent, and that partnership with General Cotton to ensure that that was done by 16th Air Force teammates. When we look at what is going on in support of U.S. Space Command, our newest combatant command that is growing a headquarters, and to be able to grow a team that can integrate with them regardless of where their headquarters was going to go. That took art, it took focus, and the ability to really align against some very unique problems that U.S. Space Command has. And then in terms of the support to U.S. Cyber Command and the missions that we execute as a supported combatant command, the election security work that has gone on, both 2 years ago and underway today, to ensure that our nation has an election free of foreign influence. Each of those roles takes synchronization, it takes time. And what it also takes is a really great leadership team. When we look at the work that Crypto had done as a deputy commander, General Stevens, the work that has gone on by Mr. Pohl, Mr. Bachhuber, Mr. Cook, the senior executives on the staff, that work to bring synchronized activities in support of those combatant commands, we couldn't be prouder. We'd also like to give a broad shout out for the work that goes on every day from 16th Air Force to support our entire Air Force through the operations of our Air Force network and the work that goes on as cybersecurity service provider. Those activities foundational to everything that goes on our Air Force every day. Lastly, I'd want to give a shout out to the weather team. Weather drives behavior. All right, so as I come to a close, what I really wanted to highlight, all those things are really happening simultaneously across this organization under the intent of General Kennedy and executed by wings and groups and squadrons, joint teams to be able to meet the demands of our nation. We're excited of what has happened under TRAP's watch, and we're equally excited for what's going to happen as Crypto takes the lead. And from my experience with Crypto, he has spent an enormous amount of time as an intelligence leader across the Joint Force, across the National Security Agency, and across our Air Force. He has worked in cyber in the Air Force, he's done it within NSA, and he has spent a year learning how to run an Air Force network. We know he is primed to bring this enterprise together, and wherever we go organizationally, there are things that won't change. And those will be that we know there are great leaders here, we know there are incredible airmen, and you are going to make the mission happen. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
General Hawk, thank you for those insightful comments. General Kennedy will now address Team Phoenix for the last time as their commander.
Speeches here. All right. All right. Well, thank you, and good morning. And General Wilsbach and Cindy, General Hawk, General Nakasone, Susan, General Henlsey, Vicki, Chief Bruce, Chief Wolf, Dr. Wolf. I'm going to go through every. No, I'm not. Chief Hopkins, Tony, fellow general officers, senior leaders, commanders, command chiefs, family, friends, and other distinguished guests. Thank you for joining the women and men of 16th Air Force today. We mark a key milestone in our history today, the second change of command in 16th Air Force reincarnation as the IWNAF. It's not lost on me or our team that there were many demands on your time. Airplane schedules as well as weather. The weather wing couldn't take care of it. Please work on that, guys. Good. And we really greatly appreciate you chose to spend some of your valuable time with us today. Today, I'll follow the maxim that we give all outgoing commanders: be brief and be gone. So I'll be that. However, I do want to take an opportunity for a few thank yous, a few reflections, and then a welcome to the team that's coming in behind us. First, the thank yous. Thank you to General Wilsbach and General Hawk for officiating and speaking at today's event. The other 3 4-stars were interested. We said, sirs, we got to keep this down a little bit. But thank you for your unwavering support, not only for our mission, but for the 49,000 total force airmen within our numbered Air Force. Through your leadership and complete confidence in our team, we were able to generate outcomes with broad impact for the Joint Force, the Department of Defense, and the nation. Thank you to my wife, Cindy, for her and our entire family's support to me and our numbered Air Force. Service starts at home, and Cindy is here representing all the families that provide the foundation of support for our airmen, for our squadrons, for our groups, for our wings, and for our entire Air Force. Finally, a big thank you to the team that made today's ceremony a reality. Specifically, Lieutenant Colonel Nathan Motz, Major Christina Helmlich, Master Sergeant Jason Bim, Ms. Deidre McNamara, Staff Sergeant Ashley Mary, Master Sergeant Darius Charles, Mr. Manny Garcia, Mr. Trevor Iron, Mr. Matt McGovern, Ms. Shannon Singleton, Mr. Dave Cohen, Ms. Nakisha Elmore, the Air Force Band of the West, and of course, our protocol team, Mr. Tim Duncan, Mr. Frank Rodriguez, Ms. Jessica Dawson, Tech Sergeant Jessica Bentz. Thank you for today and the numerous other ceremonies and engagements you've supported the past 2 years. Now, with all the DVs here, with the wing commanders here, with all our staff here, the GDP of the United States is taking a dip for just a few minutes, but I do appreciate it. And so how about join me in one last round of applause. All right, so now for some reflections over the course of the last 2 years. Over the last 2 years, the airmen of 16th Air Force, along with the soldiers, sailors, and Guardian, we do have one, that comprise our Cyber Joint Force headquarters, have defended U.S. interests across the globe and blazed new trails for information warfare. Defended U.S. interests and those of our partners and allies in the Middle East, as we saw the tenuous beginnings of a potential long-lasting peace once again disrupted by terrorists and the slaughter of innocents last October. Defended U.S. interests and those of our partners and allies on the eastern edge of NATO, as we saw Russia's unprovoked invasion of Ukraine stagnate, though continue to threaten and kill the people of Ukraine. Defended our nation as the PRC sought to exploit and posture within our networks and platforms, hunting, eradicating, and exposing the PRC strategic cyber force wherever they sought to gain advantage. Our airmen blazed new trails, driving the maturation of information warfare, driving advances in information warfare training, from teaching classes across all air components, to integrating the Joint Force into Air Force exercises, and driving awareness across the operational level of our force. All of this activity while raising our readiness and preparation for full-scale conflict to levels that we have not achieved in decades. They did this by focusing on our readiness, our resilience, and the modernization efforts across our NAF. We have in turn increased our combat effectiveness. Just over 2 years ago, I was in this very room. I spoke of the unique information warfare talent and expertise resident in 16th Air Force that you've heard General Wilsbach and General Hawk talk to. The talent and expertise across the intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, cyber, weather, electronic warfare, and information operations enterprises. I spoke of the unique and indispensable value that our NAF brings to the joint force in our nation. My time as commander has only strengthened that assessment. Information warfare is the dominant activity in competition, the critical activity in a crisis, and the essential enabler in conflict. Our ongoing efforts to conceal or reveal our capabilities and operations while exposing or disrupting adversary malign activity across the globe is absolutely vital to our nation's defense and to maintaining our national advantage. Vital to our nation as we lead an international coalition of like-minded nations, represented here today by Mr. Mikhail Tick, Brigadier General Rene Vandenberg, and Captain Fields. That value, these nations and our nation value the rights of the individual, the inalienable rights of the individual, and are committed to contest autocratic regimes that hold their personal gain and regime survival more dearly than they hold the rights that those they are entrusted to govern and defend. That very same ethos and belief that enabled rights of the individual that birthed our nation in 1776 remains true today, and the fundamental principle was never far from my thoughts during my tenure in command. A change of command is bittersweet. New challenges await me. Personally, now I am trading in 7 bosses, I'm getting 7 more, and a governance body. So we've got 5 kids, a dog, that's 6. I got my mom and my sister up in Dallas, that's the governance and oversight. So I will have plenty of help and direction. But knowing there's more work to be done here and great people to do it with makes every commander hesitate at the change of command. However, with Lieutenant General Henlsey and his wife Vicki fleeting up to lead our numbered Air Force, I know our team will not miss a beat. I've had the good fortune of working closely with Lieutenant General Henlsey over the course of my career, literally over decades. From Mountain Home Air Force Base when we were 2 captains, to teaching together at the weapons school, to working together when he was the military deputy director at the National Security Agency, to the past year as our deputy commander, and I can state without a doubt that he is the right airman and the right command team to lead our NAV forward. To the men and women of 16th Air Force, in the coming years, you will set the course for how we will evolve our training, our organization, and our capabilities. Across the Air Force's intelligence, enterprises, reconnaissance, surveillance, cyber, electronic warfare, weather, information operations, you will ensure we are postured to meet the challenges of the 21st century. In the coming years, there will be competition. In the coming years, there will be crises. Crises as we see today in Eastern Europe and in the Middle East. There will be others. There may be large-scale conflict. Under Lieutenant General's leadership, you will be ready. It has been almost made it. It has been the greatest privilege of my career to be your commander. Though Cindy and I are departing the formation, we will forever remain at your service. And as our song says, off we go. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. General Kennedy, Team Phoenix expresses gratitude for your unwavering leadership and guidance. We wish you, Cindy, and your children much success in all your future endeavors. Mrs. Kennedy, we would like to express our gratitude by presenting you with this bouquet of blue roses as a token of our appreciation for your unwavering support to General Kennedy, 16th Air Force, and the Department of the Air Force. The ceremony you are about to witness is one of the most significant of our military ceremonies. All authority and responsibility are vested in the hands of the commander, a chain unbroken to the commander-in-chief. No unit may be without a commander. So today, when General Kennedy relinquishes command, all authority and responsibility of 16th Air Force are immediately transferred to General Henlsey. The passing of the 16th Air Force flag culminates a series of significant achievements under General Kennedy's leadership, foresight, and guidance, and reflects great confidence in the continuance of those achievements to come under the command of General Henlsey. The custodian of the command's colors is Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Robert Hopkins. Will the official party prepare for the change of command? Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Attention to order. Special Order G-001-2024. By the direction of the President, Lieutenant General Thomas K. Henlsey is appointed Commander of the 16th Air Force, Air Forces Cyber, effective August 1st, 2024.
Sir, I assume command.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. It is my privilege to introduce the new commander, 16th Air Force, Air Forces Cyber, Lieutenant General Thomas K. Henlsey.
Thank you all so much for being here. I'll let you in on a little secret. So there's a competition that's going on between me and Lieutenant General Kennedy. Trap. So I'm a lieutenant general now. I can call him by his call sign. So as the outgoing commander, he wanted to be brief and be gone. And I believe as the incoming commander, your remarks should be shorter than the outgoing commanders. So he usually beats me at everything anyway, so he'll probably beat me at this one too. But clearly the benefactor in all of this will be you. But thanks for the opportunity. It truly is an honor and a privilege to be the 16th Air Force commander. And I do have some thanks that I want to make for the folks that helped pull this together. And just to echo the comments by the previous speakers before me, Mr. Tim Duncan and the entire protocol team, how about a round of applause for them? They've been extremely busy. Master Sergeant Charles for that fantastic narration. Chief Cunillo, he's been really busy this morning with inspirational words, but thank you for that. The Honor Guard for your display of precision and unity. The Band of the West for the great music that you've been playing and creating the right atmosphere. Miss Elmore, how about that fantastic rendition of the national anthem? How about a round of applause for Miss Elmore? We do have a lot of DVs in the crowd today. I won't recognize all of them, but I did want to take an opportunity to thank Miss Cindy Wilsbach for being here. A couple days ago, they celebrated their 41st anniversary. How about a round of applause for that? General Nakasone, Susan Nakasone, thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate it. Chief Wolf, Dr. Wolf, Chief Bruce, thank you so much. And of course, Cindy Kennedy, thank you so much for being here. How about a round of applause for the DVs that we have? And I know we have a bunch of general officers and flag officers and civilian executives. We've got government leaders and civic leaders. We have allies and partners that are here. Thank you so much for being here in attendance. It really means a lot. I think Mikhail Tick wins the award for the furthest distance traveled all the way from Estonia. Sir, thank you so much for coming out here and attending this ceremony with us. For all the commanders, directors, command chiefs, and especially the 16th Air Force staff, family, friends, and loved ones, thank you so much for being here. General Wilsbach, sir, I just wanted to thank you for presiding over the change of command ceremony. We had the opportunity to cross paths a little over a decade ago in Afghanistan. We only spent about 3 weeks together. That was my only real opportunity to have the pleasure to serve under his command until now. And sir, I am absolutely proud and humbled to be able to serve under your command as the commander of ACC. And I look forward to executing your guidance as the Air Force and ACC reoptimizes for great power competition. Sir, thank you for your leadership. General Hawk, sir, thank you so much for your leadership. We have crossed paths multiple times since we were fellow wing commanders. And General Hawk, I just wanted to say thank you for always being a great example of leadership for me and many, many others. But thank you for your mentorship, your friendship, and your support. And I really do appreciate the support that you provided during a challenging time. And forever I will be indebted and to have much gratitude for you for that. And it goes without saying, it's a great honor to be able to follow in your footsteps as a 16th Air Force commander. And it's certainly an honor to be your subordinate commander as the Cybercom commander and director of NSA. Sir, thank you very much. General Wilsbach, General Hawk, again, for the faith, trust, and confidence that you're putting into me as the 16th Air Force commander. We will not let you down. Thank you very much. I wanted to turn my attention to Lieutenant General Kennedy, Trapp. And some of you heard this in the promotion ceremony earlier, but it was about 1.5 years ago when General Kennedy gave me a phone call and let me know that I was going to be the deputy commander of 16th Air Force. Vicki and I talked about it at home later that evening, and we were just ecstatic about it. So coming back to Texas, that's our home state. That's where our families and long-term friends live, and so it's great being back home. But for me personally, it was quite the honor and privilege to be able to serve under General Kennedy's leadership as his deputy commander over the past year. And as he mentioned, we have served together for a great period of time as young captains, as at the weapons school, as our first teeth-cutting assignment as patchwearers at Mountain Home, a composite wing, where we were trying to solve all the world's problems. And then having the opportunity to partner up again with him when he was the Cybercom Director of Operations, I was the NSA Deputy Director of Operations. We had a really, really close partnership, and it got really close when he didn't like the IGL process and it was disrupting his mission package development. So we got really close then. But after that job, when he got picked up as the 16th Air Force commander, I just knew it was the right person at the right time to pick up the flag after General Hawk. He's everything that you would want from a commander and a leader. He's visionary, he's inspiring, he empowers his people. And so the past year as the deputy commander has just been a great opportunity for me to learn from him and get his mentorship, and has been captured countless times by the previous speakers. As the 16th Air Force commander, countless outcomes for our nation in support of our allies and partners with respect to cyber operations, network operations, ISR intelligence operations, information operations, the whole gambit. Our nation is in much gratitude for your leadership and service. So thank you for your unwavering commitment, devotion to duty, especially over the last couple of years as you've been separated from your lovely bride and your family. That is quite a commitment, but I think we all thank you. And Cindy, for you, as has been mentioned previously by the other leaders, thank you for your selfless service. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your love and support to allow Trapp to do what it is that he does so well, and that is just flat out lead. How about a round of applause for the Kennedys? I mentioned there's 3 reasons we were ecstatic about coming to Texas, the 16th Air Force, and the third reason was because it's 16th Air Force. Prior to that, I'd spent 12 years primarily joint, and we were excited about coming to an Air Force unit but it wasn't just any Air Force unit. It's 16th Air Force. Brand new numbered Air Force that brought a number of capabilities and authorities together to converge that so that we can get after information warfare. So having the opportunity to be the deputy commander in 16th Air Force, I was just doing cheetah flips with that opportunity. But you know, being part of an Air Force unit, working with airmen side by side, working on Air Force issues, just really, really humbled by that opportunity to be able to do that. And it's not lost on me that as I fleet up and become the 16th Air Force commander, I've got some really big shoes to fill following General Hawk and General Kennedy. But for the men and women of 16th Air Force and the commanders that are out here representing all the wings that are within 16th Air Force, just know I'm going to bring it every single day. Bring it strong, not bring it weak. Bring it every single day to lead the best that I can. Right now, as the Air Force goes through the reoptimization for great power competition, it's not certain yet what 16th Air Force AF-Cyber will look like in the future. But in some of the conversations that we've been in our privy to, it's getting more clear every single day. And I want the men and women of 16th Air Force to know that we have our most senior leaders in our Air Force engaged on this subject. General Wilsbach, General Hawk, they have galaxies on their shoulders. We have other senior leaders in the Pentagon that are directly involved in the future of 16th Air Force and AF-Cyber. Why is that? So these senior leaders, for the folks, the 49,000 airmen that we have worldwide, these senior leaders, they may not know you by your face, they may not know you by your name, but they certainly know what you do. And so from that standpoint, I hope you take great pride in that the senior leaders are directly involved in this. And whatever the senior leaders decide to do, we will salute smartly and execute the mission to the best of our ability and proudly, because our nation expects nothing less. In closing, I just wanted to thank my family, Vicki, Logan, Hunter, Jackson. Thank you for the selfless service, the selfless sacrifice, the love and support that you've provided over the past several years. As been mentioned before, we cannot do what it is that we do without that love and support, and I certainly appreciate all that you do, and the journey continues. Thank you all very much. I salute you.
Thank you, General Henlsey. We eagerly anticipate your guidance and leadership in propelling 16th Air Force towards the creation of more success stories. Mrs. Henlsey, we present this bouquet of yellow roses as a gesture of gratitude for your selfless dedication to your husband and our nation. We eagerly anticipate the opportunity to meet you and your family. Ladies and gentlemen, the playing of the Air Force song signals the conclusion of our ceremony. Please stand and join in singing the first verse led by Mrs. Elmore. Off we go.